Brooke here from The Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. Today is September 17th. It is 2 days before the service for Queen Elizabeth II, who, as we all know, passed away on September 8th at the age of 96. I'm American, so we don't have monarchy. We elect presidents every 4 years. Since Elizabeth became queen, I think we've had 14. There have been 14 in office, starting with Harry Truman, and we don't really get attached to our leaders. But that said, even though I've always known that there was other kings and queens in Europe and around the world, Queen Elizabeth was really the only one, I guess, I really kept up with. Really the only one I really knew about. So when I read that she passed away, I was affected a lot more than I thought I was going to be. And I'm not alone. Her death has not only put the British people in mourning, but I think it really has set off mourning around the world. Anyway, I cannot go to the funeral services. I will try to catch some of it when I know it will be streamed on TV. But I did want to remember her in my own way. And so I'm a gardener, so I like flowers, I like making bouquets, and so I'm going to make a commemorative bouquet using principles of florography. For those of you guys who are just joining my channel for the first time, I'm really, one of the reasons I called myself the Vintage Gardener is because I do like a lot of old-fashioned things. And one old-fashioned way of doing bouquets was using florography, which most people know as the language of flowers. The bouquets are very personal because each flower that you choose has meaning, and you choose the flowers because they have a specific meaning. So the book that I use when making bouquets, it's called The Complete Language of Flowers. I got this off Amazon. It's by Teresa Dietz. She has, it's about 1,000 plants in here. She has the meanings from like around the world. So it's my go-to when I'm doing this. Okay, so as you guys saw from the shop that I did, I have a lot of flowers on my table. They're different colors. There's more than one variety of some of them, because one thing with florography is that although each flower has meaning, sometimes different colors give a different meaning. One of the great things about doing a bouquet with using principles of florography, in addition to getting a unique bouquet because each of the flowers has meaning, you can convey, there's a great deal of meaning that you can convey through a bouquet. You can use the bouquet to represent qualities of the person, or you can use it to express how you feel about that person, and you can do a combination of both. So with all the flowers that I've chosen, it's not, although I certainly feel this way, I chose flowers that represent what I have perceived to be how the public in general felt about Queen Elizabeth, as well as some flowers that I think kind of represent some characteristics that I personally observed her have. So the first flower on my list is dahlia. I have a couple of different types of dahlia here. I have a white dahlia. This one's called Snow Country. I have this gorgeous red one that was it was mislabeled. I'm not really sure what it's called. I also have a pink dahlia in here. Dahlia stands for dignity and elegance, refinement, and it also can stand for warning of change. And I think all three of those meanings are very appropriate here. I loved the way Queen Elizabeth dressed. I loved the outfits. I love the matching hats and the purse. And I love the fact that she dressed in bright colors. And I think most people in the world think of her as being very dignified and that sort of thing. But also, it is a time of change. She, once again, was the longest reigning British monarch, and now King Charles is reigning, and obviously that's going to bring changes with it, and so that's why I picked this particular flower. So the next flower on my list is Zinnias. This one is called Queen Lime Orange. I have a pink one, which I believe is Rose Canary. I think I've got a pink Cenurated Cactus. I've got some red ones and I think a couple of magenta ones. Zinnias in general mean I mourn your absence, which obviously is very appropriate for this type of bouquet. Zinnias is a flower that, depending upon the color, it does change the meaning. I could not find any yellow zinnias in my garden, even though I have them, but yellow stands for dearly remembered. If you have mixed color zinnias, which is what I do have, it stands for memories beyond reach, mourning of friends, which I know some people definitely feel, and pink stands for lasting affection, which I think pretty much all of the British public is definitely going to feel. Then I do kind of have a filler flower, so to speak. It's not really a flower, it is rosemary. I chose rosemary because rosemary, if you guys remember from Shakespeare, I think it was it? I do believe it was Hamlet. I believe it was Ophelia who made the statement, rosemary is for remembrance. And so I have cut a lot of rosemary, and so I'll be breaking sprigs off, and I'm using it as a filler in this bouquet. And of course it has a wonderful scent. Then I got some of my Gomphrena. I had some white Gomphrena, but I just felt it might be a little too stark for this arrangement because white kind of does this. This is called Strawberry Fields Gomphrena. Gomphrena stands for immortality, and obviously Queen Elizabeth is not immortality, but she's the second Elizabeth. She is going to go down in history, and to a certain extent, she will have, immortal fame. She will always be remembered. Okay, and then let's see, I have some Echinacea here. I believe this one it's either sweet chili, I think it might be hot papaya. And Echinacea stands for shielded, and it can also stand for spiritual warrior. And I know that Queen Elizabeth was definitely a spiritual woman. So this right here this is a perennial sweet pea. Now sweet pea can be perennial, and it can also be an annual. Perennial sweet pea, the meaning behind that one is an appointed meeting, a goodbye, I think of you, and departure. And I know it's kind of a little bit weird for this one, but I know that Prince Philip passed away last year, and I know for a lot of people, especially when you've been married for such a long time, I know one of the things that people have said is that, oh, she's now with her husband again. And so that's why I chose perennial sweet pea, because they have met up again. And so I think it's, even though her family is sad to see her go, I'm sure she definitely missed her husband a lot. I don't remember what the definition is for annual sweet pea. It's slightly different, but perennial sweet pea is what I chose. The next thing I have are Celosia, and I have a couple of different types. So I have the fan Celosia right here, and then I also have one of the more, I guess, plume type varieties. And Celosia stands for affection and singularity, and I'm going with the singularity definition because although I'm sure with affection, her family and of course the nation feels great affection for her, she was a singular woman, and she really stood out, and that's why I chose that particular plant. The next one I have in here are chrysanthemums, and I have a couple of different varieties. I have some peach ones, and like one of the peach ones is right here. This is Chrysanthemum Quarterback. I also have Peach Centerpiece, which is right here, and I've got one that's getting ready to open. And then I also have a yellow one, and I could not find a tag on it. Chrysanthemum, generally speaking, stands for a heart left to desolation, and it also stands for fidelity, and I think she was very faithful to her duty as a queen. The yellow one also stands for imperial, and I know that, I believe in Japan, I know the yellow chrysanthemum is the emblem of the imperial family. But, and I know Queen Elizabeth is not an imperial queen anymore. I mean, I know there was a British Empire, but I still thought it was very appropriate to put in the bouquet. The next one is phlox. I had a single sprig of cherry caramel phlox, which is right here. This summer was pretty brutal, but I thought it was such a pretty flower that I cut the only one that I had. And so phlox stands for United Hearts and United Souls. And I think that everybody in the world has kind of united around her death. Okay, so the next flower I chose were hydrangeas. These are my limelight hydrangeas. Hydrangeas have mixed messages. Some of them are, I would say half of them are good, half of them are not so good. Obviously, I chose it for the good reasons. It means heartfelt praise and appreciation, and it also means devotion, which I think that's, I can't think of any other way to describe Queen Elizabeth II. Then I have some amaranth. This one is right here. Let me see if I can pull it out for you. It's also known as Love Lies Bleeding, and this one is kind of droopy. And this one stands for fidelity, which I think she was the very emblem of that. And then as a filler flower, I have a couple of different types of aster. So I've got a white aster, and I do have a purple aster, which is right here. And aster stands for elegance, faith, and farewell. And so, I mean, it's like a trifecta. I thought it was so fitting for this bouquet. And then last but not least, I do have a rose, which is somewhere in here. It is from the Mill on the Floss Rose by David Austin. And so I chose an English rose for obvious reasons, and I can't even find it. Now, generally speaking, roses stand for love, but can be different meanings depending upon the color. Mill on the Floss Rose is light pink, and light pink stands for admiration, and she was a woman to be admired. And so once I'm putting it in the bouquet, I'm sure you guys will see it. I can't find it. It's somewhere buried in all of this. So anyway, you guys, that's what I'm going for. I'm gonna set the camera up and do a time lapse. I'm not really sure how I'm going to use all of these yet. I'm just gonna kind of start putting things in there and seeing how I go. I got this footed bowl from Joann Fabric, and I'll kind of tilt it forward. Probably aren't gonna be able to see it that much, but I used floral tape and I did a grid. So it's a couple this way and a few this way. And so this will help hold the flowers in place. So I'm gonna stop the video and I'm going to get everything set up, and then you guys can watch me while I work. you.